Hey guys, welcome back to another Take 5. This one's going to be about axis mappings. Um, Axis mappings are much like action mappings in the sense that they are events that you can call, and they're going to give you, some kind of flow of execution. The only difference is an axis mapping comes with a value usually that you can take and do something with. And for example, usually like a float value or something. So they are actually going to be set up inside of the input just where the action mappings were, if you saw the previous video on action mappings. So you go into project settings, input, and then right here underneath action mappings you got those, and then you've got axis mappings here. So I already created two. You hit the plus button right here. You just name it whatever you want, and then you're going to want to put in I would put in here and just do turn and look up, make two of them, and then for turn you're going to want to do mouse X right here, and look up is going to be mouse Y, and you can just type this in mouse Y, and you can get mouse Y, mouse X, whatever you need. So then that's done right there. You don't have to change the scales or anything. So then pull up your pawn and your controller. So first things first, we have our controller here. We we should be making sure that we have a player camera manager in here at the top of our controller. So when you open the controller, you're going to see player camera manager class. Just make sure you click camera manager just to be sure, just to be safe. Um, and then go back into your pawn, and you're going to click on, if you have a spring arm attached to your pawn, which you should if you've been following the tutorials, you probably should have a spring arm attached to your pawn. So go ahead and click on the spring arm and come down here, and you should see this thing says use pawn control rotation. You're going to want to check that box. Okay? You don't need to do anything with the camera itself, just the spring arm right now. So then, in order to use these axis mappings, you just right click and you say turn, and they're going to show up. So turn and look up, and now you have this axis mapping that I'm gonna delete mine because I have it right here. So basically, you've got this axis mapping that now has the value that you want to use, and it's going to take the x, the mouse. This one's going to take the mouse x. So mouse x is going to go from 0 to having a value when you're turning, and it's either going to be a negative or a positive, and so you can do stuff with it. And for this example, I'm not going to be able to have time to go over this example completely, but I'll show you what I've got going here, just so that you can kind of set it up if you want to. Basically, you have to take your player controller, and you got to set the control rotation to the new value that you have, multiplied by a uh, a constant of whatever value you really want it to be. I picked 2 because basically this is the speed at which this is going to happen. So I want to change, basically rotate the camera, and I want it to rotate it multiplied by a speed of 2 off the base that's coming out of this, right? And then what we want to do is add that back to our values. So we take our current rotation and we add that back in to our pitch, and we pass that pitch into the actual rotation that we're going to be pushing onto that spring arm. And so what ends up happening is, you should be able to hit play. What ends up happening is once you click on there, when you rotate the mouse left and right, now you've got a camera that will rotate left and right. Now, pay attention to this video here because the cube is not going to move for you. Okay, only the camera is going to be moving. The reason why my cube is moving is because I've got other programming happening that allows it to move. Now, to set the pitch, to set up the yaw sorry, I was backwards there. That was supposed to be, you were going to be looking for up and down on that one. That was looking up and down. So yours is going to go up and down. and my turn is going to be left and right. But see, the turn is going to be set up exactly the same. The only difference is you're using, instead of pitch for the additive here, you're actually using the yaw, and you're going to set the yaw, and the other two are just going to be taken from the current control rotation. The only other difference that makes my cube rotate is that I set the actual rotation of the actor with the same rotation of the control. So that's why the cube rotates at the same time. And that's what you end up with is basically this right here. So I think that's all the time I have for this video. If there's any questions about this video, just leave them in the comments, and I can always help out. It was a little bit skewed because I had to look up and left right backwards there at the beginning. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.